Hello once again, and welcome to Mid-Missouri Art News here at JCTV in Jefferson City, Missouri. That's the capital of our great state of Missouri. Coming to you on a 4th day of November 2017. A really pleasant day outside with a little chill. I'm your host, Rick Jey, with two special guests today. Artist Gail Leivian, a member, active volunteer, and the spokesperson today for the 114-year-old Jefferson City Art Club. And artist Ron Ferkol from Washington, Missouri. Both play a large role in the world of art. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for your support, as Mid-Missouri Art News and Spotlight on the Arts is now supported by many people and organizations throughout our state. So I want to thank you, viewers, at this time, just to kick things off. I first would like to turn and join me, if you will, in welcoming Gail Leivian to JCTV, Mid-Missouri Art News. Gail, please tell us a little bit about you and the highlights of your life, and share with our viewers that best describe Gail Leivian.
Oh, Jerry, thank you so much for having me on your show today. It's a real honor to be here. Highlights in my life, I would like to start out saying that I grew up as one of those little girls that loved horses. And I was born in the state of California. And when I was little, I would watch this TV show about a horse named Fury. Ah. So I believe Fury was the one that started me in art. But my dad, when we were in California, always wanted to, grew up in the Midwest. He always wanted to move back to become a farmer and get a farm. And he would always tell me, when we moved to the Midwest, I'm going to get you a horse. Ah. So we did. We moved back to, we found a farm in Missouri, over in Lamont, Missouri. It's about 15 miles west of Sedalia.
Yes.
I went to school in Lamont. And when I came home from school one day, there was a horse.
Oh my.
In the yard, and it looked just like Fury, the horse on the TV show. He was black in color, and he had a white star in the middle of his forehead.
Excellent.
He was a wonderful horse, and I grew up with him.
Super. I remember Fury. I watched it faithfully, always myself.
I was a faithful watcher. When I moved to Lamont, I couldn't get that show on the TV there, but I remembered the show, but I had the live horse then. So
now, you've shared with me that you have family, you have brothers and sisters.
No, I grew up as an only child.
Oh.
So Fury was my fun in Lamont, and my friends. I went to high school, grade school and high school there. And some other highlights in my life is I graduated with a degree in mass communications from the University of Central Missouri in Warrensburg. And then from there, I got married, had 2 children, have 2 daughters, and one lives in Washington, D.C., and another one lives in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And now I have 3 grandchildren. Oh,
super, my. So you'd like to say hello probably to those grandchildren and your children.
Yes, and I
also
also
don't
have
forget your wonderful husband, Jim.
Yes, and he's here in the studio today.
Here in the studio.
Hello,
in the
Jim.
audience.
I want to say hello to all my family and friends out there, and my grandchildren, and I also have a goddaughter here in Jefferson City.
Oh, that's great.
So I have some wonderful highlights in my life.
It sounds like a very exciting, awesome life that you've led, like many of us. And I loved the fact that you were able to share your life with our viewers so people can identify a little bit about themselves through you or vice versa. So thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
Well, now we're going to get into a really tough question. We know that you're an excellent artist in a couple of ways, and we'll discuss those. Can you share with us when or how you were first inspired, and really what inspires you to keep on going, moving the brush or what have you?
Okay. Well, I would say that I was first inspired back in California, in the state where I was born, by my mother. And this was before I was in kindergarten. I would watch her paint.
I see.
And she painted horses.
Oh, my.
So that's when I first fell in love with horses, that and the TV show Fury. And so I started drawing horses then. And I kept drawing horses all my life until I became better at it. The more practice you do, the better you get.
Exactly.
And so that's sort of what started me in drawing and in liking art. And then at a time in my life, back in 1995, 96, in that time, I went to the University of Evansville in southern Indiana, Evansville, Indiana, to work on a master's degree. And while I was there, I took oil painting classes because I always wanted to do oil painting. Because my mom did it. I watched her do it as a kid, but I never did this before.
My favorite medium.
So I decided to take courses at this university, which I did, and I loved it. I fell in love with oil paints. And from then on, I've been hooked on oil painting.
I can identify with that personally, definitely.
Yes.
Well, super. Now, you have won some awards, I believe, in St. Louis recently with a piece that you completed, if I'm correct. I may...
No, it wasn't St. Louis.
It wasn't St. Louis.
But I won an award from recently, of June of this year, with the American Red Cross. I entered the American Red Cross art contest here in Jefferson City and won that show. I was supposed to paint an art poster that described what they do, and so I did, and I won first place, and I've just felt really honored to win that. And Jefferson Bank donated money, and I won some money.
Oh, that's excellent.
And that was nice, really nice, and it was really an honor to win that show.
And I know so many people in the art community here, especially Jefferson City Art Club was real proud of the fact that you did win that. A lot of people got involved, so
yes.
That's great for the Red Cross.
And I've also have entered art shows here in Jefferson City with the Jefferson City Art Club Adult Art Exhibit, and won awards there too.
Oh, super. Yes, you've been very well recognized.
I've spent 26 years of my life working for the Department of Social Services, which I feel that's a highlight in my life, to work there that long and retire from that department. It's a great place, and met a lot of wonderful people during my time there. Still friends with many of them. So when I was working, I didn't get to paint as much.
Right.
And since I retired, I've been painting a lot more, and I have more time now to enter shows and do more things.
Which has got to be very therapeutic and relaxing. You know, when we get behind the brush, it really is a great opportunity to get in touch with our artistic being, I guess you could say.
Yes.
Well, I want to ask you now what projects you might have in process or any venue for showing and viewing. And I guess I'll let you introduce the gentleman to our left here, the male dog, Sir Von Riker.
Yes.
Which,
well, Jerry and I were at one of the art club meetings one evening, and Jerry was showing me photos of his dog, this is Jerry's Doberman Pinscher, and it's a champion Doberman Pinscher. He's won many dog shows, and the dog is beautiful. And the minute I saw the dog in the photo, the first photo, I said, Jerry, may I paint your dog? I love that dog. He was so beautiful. And Jerry said, yes, I'd be honored to have you do that. So this is the painting that I've done of Sir Von Riker. He will be on display at my current show, which is at the Department of Motor Vehicles in Jeff City, Missouri. And I have the address of that. It's at 1617 South Ridge Drive. And the show is on now, and it will continue until around December 6th. And this will also be on display in the show, as well as many other inspirations that I have painted through the years. And I paint both traditional and sometimes I do a modern twist on some of my paintings. And I get inspiration from just everyday living. Just if something strikes me and makes me have a mood, I'll try and paint it and create it. My first love is actually painting horses, but I do paint other things. I also get inspiration from dreams that I have. I had this one dream once of seeing eyeballs for heads. Like you have a head, it was an eyeball, and then it was on a human body. So I painted some paintings with that, and my audience loved it. So I have a painting there on display now.
Oh, super. That's somewhat of like an abstract almost.
Yes.
Halloween piece.
It's really an unusual piece.
Great. Well, we've got to turn real quick to, since you're the spokesperson today for the Jefferson City Art Club, may I ask how long you've been a member of the Jefferson City Art Club? And maybe if it's inspired you at all or become to continue as an artist, or if it's inspired you as a person.
Well, the Jefferson City Art Club, I've been a member for 2 years at the club, and everybody in the club is really wonderful. And it's a club that does inspire you to continue doing your art projects. One thing they do is they provide you with an outlet to show your work. Like they have a website which has a featured artist. They also are the ones that help you set up the show at the Department of Motor Vehicles where you can show your art. So they kind of give you an outlet where you can show your work, and which is really helpful to artists that are, especially artists who are beginning, artists like me.
Well, can you share with the viewers at this time the scoop on any current or upcoming sponsored events of the Jefferson City Art Club?
Well, right now on November 10th, which is this Friday, they're having the Art Club Fling, which is going to be held at the Hawthorne Bank Event Center. And that is at, let me give you the address. I wrote down the address so I wouldn't forget it. It's 3600 Amazones Drive here in Jefferson City, Missouri. The doors open around 7, and they're going to have food. They're going to have door prizes, and they're going to have some music.
And it's free, I understand,
it's free to the public. Yes.
We want to invite anyone who loves art, for that matter.
They're going to have artists bring their work in and talk about it and show it. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to donate some door prizes, which is jewelry. I also make jewelry, and the necklace I'm wearing today is a piece that I made. And
beautiful.
I'm going to donate some jewelry similar to this for a door prize.
Excellent. It looks beautiful. Now, this is to commemorate and celebrate 114 years of the Jefferson City Art Club, which has been around since 1903. And they have such wonderful programs and exhibits. So it's great to be a part of the organization. It's one of those that's got a great foundation and continues to be a great influence within the Jefferson City and mid-Missouri area, for that matter. I understand that you are the featured artist on the Jefferson City Club website between the periods of November the 6th through December 17th. Can you share us a tidbit about the Jefferson City Art Club website and what that's all about?
Well, as I was saying before, the Art Club provides you opportunities to show your art to the world. And on the website, it's on the internet, and the whole world can get on there and view your artwork, which is fabulous. It's amazing. And so they have an area which shows the featured artists, and you click on the website, you find the featured artist, and then you can see the paintings and the artwork the artist has done. And of course, my artwork is on there, and it will be showing a lot of the work that I also have at the Department of Motor Vehicles on show there too. So that's another way people can view the art if they are unable to make it to the show at the Department of Motor Vehicles.
So once you're a featured artist, I understand that not only are you the featured artist on the Jefferson City Art Club website, but you have a 6-week showing at the Department of Motor Vehicle, as you mentioned, and also you're a guest on Mid-Missouri Art News.
Yes.
And that's an excellent basis for have you here as a guest today. I'm so honored that you're with us. For those interested in learning more about the Jefferson City Art Club, can you tell our viewers where and when the Art Club meets and what they might enjoy upon a visit there?
Well, the Jefferson City Art Club meets on the third Mondays of the month, and they meet at the Community Christian Church, which is located at 409 Ellis Boulevard in Jefferson City, Missouri. It starts at 5:30 p.m. when the doors open. You can come there for a little bit of a greeting time and a social hour to talk with each other. And then they have food. They have hostess and hostesses that come and bring food that are members. And then they have a featured artist, and they invite artists to come from all over and show and share their creations and their artwork, which is truly fabulous. And you learn a lot from other artists and can network with fellow artists and learn what they do, and which is a really nice thing. And then following that, we have a business meeting, and it's really a fun time.
So they identify those featured artists as presenters, which make a presentation about how they do their art, their favorite mediums naturally, and share their pieces with those on hand. So come on out and join with us. Well, I guess we should leave the folks with the Jefferson City Art Club website and maybe a telephone number.
Okay, well, I don't have the phone number. Well, let's see. I don't believe I have a phone number with me.
I think they use 573-645-4507.
Okay.
And that website is www.jeffersonartclub-missouri.com. That'll be showing on your screen. Well, Gail, on behalf of the Jefferson City Art Club, I want to thank you for sharing so much with us here on Mid-Missouri Art News, JCTV.
Well, I want to thank you again for having me on the show. It's been a real honor. Thank you so much.
It's been a great presentation on your part. Thank you for sharing with our viewers so much. After the break, we meet well-known artist from Washington, Missouri, Ron Ferkol, who will surely pique your interest and in his techniques and his appealing works, etc. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Matchsticks, matchbox, matching tie to matching socks. You don't know why, but you're really special to match point, match game. You and I are not the same, but I can tell that you're really special to me. There's something I can give to make you laugh, to help you live. We're the perfect match, and you're really special to me. We're the perfect match, and you're really special to me.
Welcome back to Mid-Missouri Art News. I'm your host, Rick Jey, for the second half of the program, where I take great honor on behalf of Mid-Missouri Art News to welcome, if you will join me in welcoming artist Ron Ferkol of Washington, Missouri. Great to have you here, Ron.
Thank you, Rick.
Ron, can you please tell us a little bit about you and those highlights of your life that best describe Ron Ferkol?
Well, I was born in Cleveland, Ohio. When I guess I was probably about 3 or 4, we moved to Missouri, and I've been here ever since. I have a wife and 2 sons. They both live on the East Coast, one in New York and one in Fort Lauderdale. So I get to see some art in those places once in a while.
Excellent. And they're artists also?
No.
Oh, you just get to visit and naturally take in the view.
And go to the museums, yes.
And would you like to say them by name and give them a greeting? Because I'm sure they'll be wanting to tune in to the program.
They'll probably tell me that would be hokey.
Oh, I see. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Well, then can you tell us, please, how you were first inspired to become an artist, and still what inspires you to keep on moving the brush? I've seen some of your great works, and so I know you.
Well, thank you, Jerry.
Very well, very.
Well, I guess I'd always kind of drawn because my mother would give me paper and crayon to let me sort of self-babysit while she went about the daily chores. And I just started there, I guess, but I don't know that I was inspired then. I just knew the things around me. But at about age 13, I discovered oils, and I started experimenting with them. And we went to a small school, and they didn't have any art classes or anything, so I just kind of was left with the funny papers on Sundays and what the illustrators did in books and magazines at the time. And that's kind of where I got started at it. My dad would take us to St. Louis to the zoo, and I discovered the St. Louis Art Museum. And I guess I was probably about 10 or 13 then. And then my eyes really got big, you know. And then back then they had a lot more two-dimensional art than what they do now on display. So every time we would go to St. Louis, which was about 3 times a year, I would go up to the art museum, and the rest of the family, which is I had a sister by then, they would go to the zoo. And when they were done, they always knew where I was.
Yes, and it shows that you've, someplace along the line, you really picked up some great ideas and techniques, what have you. I know I've seen your work at
thank you.
the different venues, and so impressed. And as we're speaking, naturally, some of those will be up on the screen for our viewers to take in. Well, you mentioned oils. Naturally, you know by now that I'm a lover of oils, and I kind of stick with that. But what would you call that, your favorite mediums? And what is your favorite subject matter?
Well, yeah, I'd say that oils is my favorite, but acrylics run a close second, and I sometimes like to use them together. Started in acrylic and overlay it, do an underpainting in acrylic, and finish it off in oils. Other times, not so. But I also like watercolor, and which I've done a little of. And probably my favorite subject matters, well, it was wildlife for a while, but mostly I like to work in the studio and do still life setups.
Oh, I see. Now, there's a tip that a lot of people are always mixed up on oil on acrylic, but not acrylic on oil.
Right. Yeah,
So
it's oil over water. Even yes. That's sometimes I just tone the canvas with the acrylic, so it's not a big deal, you know. Put on pretty thin.
Well, I first met Ron at the Jefferson City Art Club exhibit at Capitol Arts Gallery here in Jefferson City, where we speak a lot about Capitol Arts. Can you share with our viewers your next venue and the dates, maybe where you will have your artwork on display for the viewers to take them in if they wish to attend any show in the area, even around Washington, Missouri? That's becoming quite an art center community. We've got different individuals that'll be coming to the program as guests.
Well, I don't have anything out at the present, but I have work all the time at a gallery in New Haven, Missouri, which is about halfway between Herman and Washington, down on the waterfront. And they can see my work there Wednesdays through Sundays, you know, year-round actually. And that's at Astro Glass Gallery. It's 133 Front Street, New Haven, Missouri.
All right, New Haven, Missouri.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Nice place. And then you can watch them demonstrate in glass too.
Oh, super. Oh, that's always intrigues me also. Well, I look forward, Ron, for you being a part of the Mid-Missouri Art News, partnered with Run's Nature Center in Jefferson City next May and June 2018. it should be quite an interesting event for viewing, as we'll have multiple talents there, from sculpturing to silk, scarf, painting to Ron's work, and different individuals. So look for that next May through June 2018. Jefferson City JCTV, Mid-Missouri Art News, and the REM Center will be putting on that exhibit. Well, Ron, can you describe some of your favorite completed projects? I know we all seem to have a few, and if you want to describe some of those will be flashed on the screen as you're talking also.
Well, I guess I was about age 40. I had some health problems, and my regular day job was electrician on construction.
I see.
And I had to go to work part-time, start doing part-time. So I filled in with the art to help with the income. So at the time, there was a lot of wildlife art. It was a big thing.
Oh, I see.
And I guess that was about in the 80s, early 90s. I was about 40 then, I think. And so I started doing wildlife and did pretty well with it. I did that for about 15 years. About age 50, I started just doing pictures on my own that weren't related to wildlife, and got more into how the paint was applied to the canvas and brush marks and so on and so forth, little things like that that hopefully you can see in the pictures as opposed to me pointing them out.
Exactly. I noticed that even your landscapes are something to be viewed. I really enjoy seeing those.
Well, thank you.
So that's great. Now, Ron, do you have a website or an email or telephone number you'd like to give out, that so people, if they're interested in commission work or just to see where you're going to be exhibiting next, can you feel free to present those to our viewership?
Sure. I have my website is ronferkol.com. That's RONFERKOL.com. I have a blog that I really don't do text on, but I do post pictures on them as I do them. And that's ronferkol.blogspot.com. And I also show works on Daily Paintworks from time to time. And dailypaintworks.com, it's all one word, dailypaintworks.com. And I have a gallery on there that probably has about 100 of my pieces on it, or a little over 100.
Oh, excellent.
And also, I have things at the Conservation Department. They probably have 6 pieces of mine, I think. I'm not really sure where they
at this time
show those.
Not really knowing where they're scheduled. I know I've been
Right.
approached and some paintings I did at the Bennett Springs, and everything's sort of on hold where they want to present the 3. So I can identify with that, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, most of these probably will be with the duck stamp and the trout stamp things, because 3 of them are duck stamps and one of them is a trout stamp for hunting and fishing.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Oh, that sounds great. Well, Ron, on behalf of JCTV and Mid-Missouri Art News, which is attempting to bring together all art lovers and enthusiasts in Missouri and surrounding states, for that matter, to this program, I want to thank you so much for contributing to Mid-Missouri Art News, making it a learning and informational experience for all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jerry.
Did you have any
Appreciate
final
being here.
Yes. Do you have any final words?
No, not right off the top of my head.
Well, say hello to everyone in the art community in Washington, Missouri.
Oh yeah, hello everyone in Washington. If you're watching this, if it don't turn out, I will not even tell you about it.
Well, thank you again, Ron. Well, next featured guest here on Mid-Missouri Art News, our artist Barb Anderson of Jefferson City, Missouri, and Jerry Thompson of Harrisburg, Missouri. You may have heard of both of these individuals in the art world. That taping is scheduled on December 13th. The next Spotlight on the Arts will feature artist Brian Haynes, who has just moved recently and opened a gallery in Washington. He's moving from the St. Louis area. So I know Brian is looking forward to his gallery on display there in Washington, Missouri. Now that program on the Spotlight on the Arts, that'll be featured, taped, shall I say, on November 15th. Look for these upcoming special events that will be coming your way. Also, I want to mention a new program that we'll be bringing you. If you're into quilting or the art of quilting, you know, I look at quilt art or all types of quilt as art, or all types of quilting as art. So there'll be a new program called Quilting Inside and Out, where you get the scoop on what's happening in the world of quilting. So I hope you'll keep that in mind. I want to thank you, JCTV, and producer Gloria Enlow for all of her work, and the JCTV actually permitting the programming. And thank you, our viewers, for watching the programs. Look for more Mid-Missouri Art News right here on JCTV. And don't forget YouTube. I'm Rick Jey saying, see you next time.